Welcome back, everyone. It is Thursday night, and wow, it's going to be a busy, exciting show tonight. Thank you so much for joining us earlier on. Let's bring our very special, esteemed guests on straight away. First of all, you've got myself. You all know me. We have a very special guest, Shoaib. Good evening, Shoaib. How are you doing, brother? Lovely to see you.
Good evening, Paul. Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing very, very good. Thank you very much.
And as you've got two people of colour on the stage already, I thought I'd bring in someone for DEI purposes. Evening, Richard. We've got Richard looking at
I was trying to think of who this kind of looks like. And obviously, definitely a father and son team. But I'm thinking steptoe and son.
Yes, yeah, you can say that because he looks more brown than me. He's more brown than I am, and I'm from the desert.
I'm glad you brought your dad along. I've heard so much about your dad, and you must be very proud to have a son like Shoaib, Paul. I mean,
absolutely, absolutely. I just wish I'd kept the hair that colour. That's all it is, Richard. But
well, you know, age, but you've got the same hairstyle, your same look. So you know, fantastic father and son duo, steptoe and son, absolutely fantastic.
Shoaib is indeed a very handsome man. So I'll take that. Richard. I'll take that definitely. Look, guys, loads to get through this evening. People piling in the chat already. Thank you so much. I'm not going to read out a load of names. I can see you all piling. Thank you for joining us. Although Simone says, hi, Richard, keep up the good work. We all love you. Linda, hello, pals. Good evening, everyone. I hope you all caught my spoof video about me and Danny having a little sparring session earlier on. I've had a lot of reaction for that. But I've got to tell you, one or two people taking it seriously. Someone wrote to me and said, Paul, if you're going to do this, you've got to change your diet.
I'll make a will. Make a will. But do you know what? What I heard, Paul, I don't know if it's true, but I heard you've been sparring with Keir Starmer, that you and him had been sharing a few skills.
I'll tell you what, mate, he'd be about my stamp, Richard. I'd like to get in the ring with Keir Starmer.
Hey, wouldn't you just? A bit of white collar boxing wouldn't go amiss, would it?
I tell you what, Keir, if you're watching, son, I will send out a challenge to you any day of the week. That will be fun. Loads of really exciting stuff to get through. I don't even know where to start, boys. I mean, look, first of all, a big round of applause for Shoaib. But he was at court today to support Tommy. Shoaib, just give us a brief rundown of your experience today, what happened and how you saw it.
I think going in today, everybody was very nervous. The people that I spoke about, because I didn't get in, I went there really late, so I missed the time to go in. But as I was outside, I spoke to many people there, and obviously there were a lot of lives going on. But the people that I was speaking with, everybody was really worried with everything that's going on. With the justice system, obviously, is against us, the far right, apparently. So that was a very worrying thing. I was worried as well. But the moment the first two people came out and they said to us, you know what? No, he's not going to prison. He's for now, he's free up until the 3rd of July. I think everybody was very happy, even though we still know this is not justice, because this should be a case closed, like open and closed. But the judge was good. I think we could have a little bit more hope, knowing that there was a good judge today who's seen this as a waste of time. And he was like, yeah, you know what, this is not going to happen. And within 10 to 15 minutes, it was all done. And then Tommy came out a little bit later on. Obviously, he spoke with his lawyers. So I think it was a very good atmosphere. I see everybody, like I said, I went there. I've seen some other brown people there as well now. Some, I don't know, they were Indian or Pakistanis. And I'm seeing that. And then I'm watching the mainstream media, which I don't watch. I only watch to get a perspective from their point of view, what they are saying to what we actually know what is going on. So when I was seeing the mainstream media and they're saying that, you know what, these far right thugs, Tommy Robinson's followers, they're creating a panic towards the ethnic minorities, and these people are scared. But what I have seen today, there were literally many ethnic minorities. There were literally people actually they're supporting Tommy Robinson. And these are the people who are young. There are people who are old, from all age groups. And when they were talking to me and I was talking to them and I was telling them, look, I am from an ethnic minority. Look, I am a Pakistani. I'm an immigrant to the country. And when they seen this shirt, they were all like clapping for me. And I was like, oh my God, I thought I would get something else, because usually the lefties will call me Uncle Tom. They call me the bootlegger. For me, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm the type of guy, it doesn't bother me. Anybody can say anything. So I think it was really, really good to see that. And like I said, positive news today and positive outcome. People were there and they were there to support Tommy Robinson. So good thing, yeah. Very good.
I think times are changing. I mean, look, let me just say what I'm thinking out loud. So I do this sometimes to get myself into trouble, but I'm gonna think out loud, right, for a minute. In the build-up to Tommy being released from prison, the situation for many of us within the movement became pretty unbearable. And you know what? I sat back and I thought, let's wait for him to get out, because when he gets out, everything's going to come back on an even keel. He'll come back, take control of the situation. But I expected it to take a lot longer than he has. He's come out on fire, literally on fire, the guy. And I cannot tell you how in awe I am of this man's will, his balls of abs. I don't know how he manages to walk around with the balls he's got on him. But show him, I mean, tell me, what is it like to be around a bunch of far-right racist folks? What's the reception that you get?
Do you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said, when I go see my own community, the people that I meet, when they look at me with the skin color, with my accent, the first thing they tell me that, oh, stay away from the white people. I've been told this last 10 years, literally, by every single person that I've met who is from my community or who is a Muslim or an ethnic minority. They always say to me, you know what, these white people, you need to stay away from them. They're very, they will play you, they will mess you about and all these things. But unfortunate for them and very fortunate for me that I'm the type of guy who didn't just look at them and say, oh, well, if you're telling me, that might be the reality, so let me believe you and not do my own research. But unfortunately for them, I did my own research, and I have been around the so-called far-right thugs, the Tommy Robinson supporters, since October last year. And when I went to that rally, the very, very first rally that I've attended in my life, I don't go to these protests. I keep away from it. You know, I'm a family man, very private man I am. But I did went. And to answer your question, Paul, I think you guys are one of the most amazing and one of the most caring people that I've come across. And I'm talking about today as well. When I went there, the people who've seen me online, the people who've just seen my work or my YouTube channel or my post, they were coming out and they were saying to me that, oh, we heard that, you have lost your job because of the Swansea Council, because of your views and because of the support you have for Tommy Robinson and the white people. And they were like, oh, can we do anything to help? Like, literally, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, these are the same racist people that my own community told me that, oh, these are the racists, stay away from them. And it's my own community the reason why I've lost my job, I lost my livelihood, I literally lost everything. And now it is the far-right so-called thugs, according to Keir Starmer, according to mainstream media, according to majority of the Muslims, according to the ethnic minorities in the UK. So these are the far-right thugs that are coming to me, and they are telling me, can we help you in any way? And, I just kept telling them, look, I would love to take your help, but right now, I feel like it's not your fault. It's not the people's fault. It's the council's fault. It is my own community's fault. I want them to be accountable. So, yeah, I got nothing but love from you people. And I have to say, Richard and Paul, both of you, you guys have treated me as one of your own. You guys have treated me as if I was white. So, thank you very much for that. You showed me a lot of love.
It's not about anyone's colour, mate. It's about the colour of someone's heart. Here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line, mate. Richard, can you imagine if everyone in this country, I say this country, I'm bloody saying in Spain, but can you imagine if everyone in the UK from all backgrounds had the same attitude as us three sitting here right now? Would the world be a better place, or would we be in a mess?
I'll be honest with you, I am completely colourblind. I do not care what skin colour you are. I genuinely don't. I just, it doesn't, it just doesn't fizz on me. And it hasn't, because it's just the way we were brought up like that, Paul. We were brought up not to be racist. Our generation, maybe the generation before us would have been a bit racist, but our generation, and it wasn't like you were having all this nonsense pushed on you. It was just decency. You know what I mean? People had come to our country as guests. If they fitted in and they integrated and they worked hard, and we were all the same. It was the same when I was in the military. When I was in the military, I served for 2 years on the streets of Northern Ireland with a lad from Somalia, a Muslim from Somalia, right? Ali Jama. He went in the British Transport Police, and an absolute gentleman, Cape North wedding. You know what I mean? So we didn't even look at skin color. and it was just
Yeah.
you know that was the way. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was tensions between different groups and different gangs, and so you know we had a situation in my school when I was a kid where you know the Pakistani gangs would have fought with everybody else, with the whites and the Somalis and the you know the West Indians, but that was a gang thing. It wasn't a question of skin color, because you know that's just the way it was. And what the state has done, and what these disgusting, despicable communists that have been playing identity politics and trying to put communities against each other have done, is they split everybody up into silos and gone, well, there's your Muslim community, there's your gay community, there's your African community, there's your Chinese community, there's your Kurds, and they deliberately let everybody just grow up in little silos. Whereas when I was young and when you were young, Paul, we were all mixing together. And yes, there would have been a few idiots. You know, there'd have been a few idiots in the National Front. Everybody hated them. So that you know what we were doing was all about just growing up together, getting on with it. You know, you think about things like the ska music had a massive impact on bringing, you know, different ethnicities together. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy the way that we've been pushed apart as community.
It has. We have been pushed apart. I mean, I think the way we opened the show was the way that I brought up. Certainly at school, you know, we had it. We just took the piss out of each other, and it didn't matter whether it was your ginger hair, your weight, your football team. It could have been anything. You just had a laugh and a joke. And we were saying before the stream even started, we was all having a bit of banter, the three of us, before we went live. And I said, look, this is how mates behave. This is called unity. This is called real integration. We're just the same. We just happen to be from different areas of the world, but we all are happy to be together and to get on. I mean, like I said, if the whole of the bloody UK was like the people that we have on this show, everyone would be happy. Well, not everyone would be happy. Some of the people, it'd be impossible to make them happy. But in general, I believe the world will be a much better place. Let's talk. Look, we have to be a little bit careful about what we talk about, Tommy, because we don't want to give him any legal problems down the road. So let's put Tommy and his case completely to one side. Let's talk about a hypothetical case that doesn't involve Tommy or anyone else that we know. Let's talk about someone who has been lied about habitually for many, many, many years. Let's talk about someone who's had their lives ruined financially. They've had their reputation tarnished. Lies have been told about them from every single angle. And by the way, in the last few weeks, Richard, me and you have learned a little bit about that as well.
Haven't we just
a bit? Is it right that the media can go to people? And I remember once, who was the famous person where the media went to his house, sent a drone over his house, and
Cliff Richard.
It was Cliff Richard, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, is it right that they can do all this?
Yeah.
And then when that individual has to go back, they're prosecuted. What the hell? I mean, what the actual hell is that all about? How can that happen in a country that supposedly has free speech?
Well, this is what I think is going to happen with that hypothetical case. I think that hypothetical case, if there was such a case, it will not get traction. It's impossible for that case to get traction if that hypothetical case is happening, because it's wrong. It's morally wrong. I mean, the whole thing is morally wrong on every level. I'm actually surprised that the hypothetical case, if it came to court, I think it would get just booted out on day one. You know, no case to answer. You know, if it was the hypothetical situation that you're talking about, you know.
Yeah, and again, hypothetically, you'd have to hope we'll have to hope that the jury is, a fair jury. I mean, look, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, that's always the problem. The problem is you've got you even with a jury, if you get a bad jury, I mean, I don't know much about the way the law works, but I don't know whether you can ask for a jury to be, binned off and get a new one if you think it's going to be biased or whatever. But that's always the worry that you end up in a court case in a predominantly left-wing Labour area, maybe with a high proportion of people in that area that wouldn't like the individual that was on trial. That would be a worry.
Yeah, that would be a big concern. Danny's in the chat. Danny, I've heard your Rebel. Danny, someone told me that you're Rebel streaming a bit later on. I don't know what's going on there, mate. The communication skills are even worse than his boxing skills.
Paul, listen, stop trying to change the subject. He is gunning for you, Paul. He's gunning for you.
I know.
But I think there's going to be an upset. I think you're going to put him down in the first round, mate. First round, it's going to be an uppercut followed by a left hook. His legs are going to buckle like Bambi's, and that's going to be it. It's going to be all over, mate. It's going to be all over.
Do you remember when Mike Tyson beat Larry Holmes? It's going to look something like that. Shoaib, let me tell you, mate, out here in Spain, I don't know what the hell is going on, but I've been bitten. I'm literally been bitten to death. That's what happens when you go into bed. There's so many old women out there. I tell you, it's a nightmare. But I've got.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was it?
Well, most of them have got dentures, mate. So you've probably got some sort of flipping, I don't know, sepsis or something. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, mate, I've been accused of being a grifter. So what I'm doing is I'm going to bring all those dentures back home and I'm going to sell them on eBay.
Hey, you might get some gold ones. See some of those old deers with the gold teeth. If they sink the teeth into you, then you'll know all about it, mate. You know what I mean? Gold in your forearm.
Yeah. But seriously, I mean, look, great. Yeah, go on, Richard.
No, I was just going to say that's the problem when you're an internet sex symbol, Paul. That's the problem, mate.
Yeah, you'll have to go over with Danny about that one. I don't know about me, but there you go. Right, next one before we get on with a couple of more juicy ones. By-election tonight, Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse. What's going to happen up there, Shoaib? Did you know that was going on tonight?
No, I had no idea. I haven't.
Yeah, so there's a by-election going up on there. Richard, any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, obviously, we would hope that a right-wing candidate wins. I mean, we've got Janice from UKIP standing, and not sure who's standing for Reform, but let's just hope. Let's just hope that there's a miracle happens, and we get somebody on the right into. Is it an MSP one or a parliamentary one, Paul? Is it Parliament? Is it?
Do you know what? I'm actually not sure, to be fair. You
probably
have to give me on that.
I'd say it's probably Parliament. But I mean, look, if we get someone in, it's one back, isn't it? It's one back from the lefties and the so-called progressives. What we should call them, the regressives. But
the regressives, yeah.
Let's hope that we get a win up there.
I think this is over the last few months, what we've seen is the beginning of the end for the left in general, the woke movement, everything really. I think that their castle is slowly but surely crumbling, brick by brick. And, I'm looking forward to maybe 4 or 5 years' time when we've got rid of this lot and normality, common sense has taken back over. Please God, that's the way it works out. But look, Zia Youssef has resigned today from Reform. The question I've got for both of you guys, what is the short and potentially the long-term ramifications of Zia Youssef going? And more importantly, who's going to replace him? I've got a view on that. But first of all, Shoaib, what do you think about Zia Youssef resigning from UKIP today? Are you sorry to see him go, or do you think it's good that he's left?
I think it's good that he's left, because there was a lot of things when you look at him. Obviously, he was a really, really good speaker. When you listen to him, you could think, oh, you know what he's going to do? He will do and bring a positive change. But I think there has been times where he has been put on spot when he didn't know what was going on. And when then you listen to him, then especially when some of his posts that he put out sometime, you can tell that he's there just to make money, because he is a businessman at the end of the day. I don't think him or anybody, and this is just my opinion, I don't think there are many people in Reform right now who come from a background where they can understand the normal or the general population of the UK, because a lot of them are very wealthy people. So for you to understand the pain of a person who who is suffering due to their they don't have accommodation, who's not getting help through the NHS. These people can never understand. So I always used to think, if you want to have a leader who can lead the country out of this poverty that we are in right now, that everybody's poor. If you look around, I would say 80 to 85% of the UK population right now are suffering. It could be old, young, anybody. Everybody's suffering in their own way. So unless you have somebody who have been through that and who have worked hard, coming from a background where they don't have enough money, and then they reach a point where they did have enough money, and that all money was made legally and in a way that they can understand. So I think him going, I think it's a good idea. It is a good thing that he has left, but you never know who's going to come in.
Yeah, positive. Funny you should say that, Shoaib. I'll tell you what I think that the people of the UK are suffering from. I know I was, and since I've been here, I mean, every day, to be honest with you, we went to a lovely town today called Denyer, which is about 45 minutes outside of Benidorm. And I was walking around my wife, and she said to me, yeah, it's a lovely place. She said to me, you look deep in thought, Paul. And I said, you know what? I still feel that I should be at home. I should be there for Tommy today. I should be there. But I've got to be honest, guys, my mental health was suffering so badly at home. And I think the nation is suffering from depression.
Yeah.
It's a depressive place these days. And being in the position, the bigger you are, the harder you fall. And I think that the turning point for me was when I did a video, and it was a relatively meaningless video. It wasn't anything particularly fantastic. It was a 10-minute long video. I'm going back about 8 or 9 months now. And it had 500,000 views in one day. And a very good friend of mine said to me, Paul, you're in trouble. And I laughed and I said, why is that? He said, mate, when you're getting this level of engagement, they're going to come for you. You need to wind your neck in, because this level of engagement is dangerous. And I laughed it off. But you know what, boys? He was absolutely spot on. He was spot on. The bigger you get, the more they will come for you. But going back to Zia Yusuf, Richard, what are I know you're going to be pleased that he's gone. Look, it seems to have been, his resignation seems to have been sparked by Sarah Potchin's comments in Parliament about the burqa. There's got to be more to it than that. But what are your views, Richard?
Well, I watched Dan Wootton's take on this, and I mean, Dan's great. I mean, he really gets stuck in, doesn't he? And he showed an interview, not an interview, a little monologue that Katie Hopkins did, really sticking on Zia about this thing with the burqa, saying, "Are you behind this?" and blah blah blah, and all the rest of it. And Zia very stupidly responded to her and said, "This is not our party's policy." Blah blah blah, about the burqa, and that seems to have been the catalyst that's pushed him out, because he put himself in a position where he'd actually put himself at odds with certainly what I can't remember this lady's name, the new MP had said, and also what Sarah Potchin, and what Lee Anderson had basically, he'd backed her, and then obviously that's all come from Farage. So he was literally hung on his own gallows like Haman in the Old Testament. And listen, I've nothing personally against any of these people. I've nothing personally against Nigel Farage. I've nothing personally against Richard Tice, and I've nothing personally against Zia Yusuf. My issue is very, very simple. They have been getting rid of some really good activists. They've got rid of some fantastic operators like Ben and Rupert Lowe. Crazy, absolute madness. And from what I can gather, because you know yourself, Paul, we've all got friends in that party at very, very senior levels within that party that are telling us things. And from what I can gather, Zia Yusuf was a real problem. And he was what he did to Rupert Lowe was absolutely unforgivable. Putting him in a position.
Well, there's the next question. Yeah, that's the next question, Richard. Because look, at the end of the day, this could be a golden moment for reform. This is their chance. I mean, if Nigel Farage wants to win the next general election on a slam dunk, I mean, like completely rip the British political system to shreds. Tear the page up, throw it over his shoulder.
Yeah.
If he was to reinstate Rupert Lowe, bury the hatchet with Ben Habib. Unfortunately, I can't see that happening. But if he was to do this and bring back the hundreds, if not thousands, of good, solid, honest, patriotic grassroots members that Reform have kicked out over the last few months, Reform would run away with the next general election with their eyes closed.
I would go further, Paul, and I'll tell you why I go further, right? If I was the chairman or the leader of Reform, which I'll never be, but if I was, just let's say hypothetically, right? Again, we're being hypothetical. I would do probably half a dozen things. The first thing I would do is exactly what you said. If I was Nigel Farage, I would apologise to Ben Habib. And I would apologise. You don't have to do it publicly. Apologise to Ben Habib. Apologise to Rupert Lowe. Face to face. Go out for a meal with them individually, not together, individually, and say, listen, do you know what? I called this wrong. Yusuf was not the man. And the fact that he's folded like a deck of cards. Paul, look at the amount of grief we've had in the last few months. Shohab's had grief. We ain't folded. We're just keeping on going and going. Keep the head down. Keep going. He folded like a deck of cards as soon as he got a bit of flack. So that's the first thing. But so you basically bury the hatchet with Ben and Rupert. That's the first thing you do. Now the second thing, and I think there's something, and we'll probably talk about this later on, but I want to bring it in now. The second thing I would do is reach out to them lot, starting with the general himself, Tommy Robinson, right? So I'd reach out to Tommy. And I think Farage may well have done that today through Ant Middleton. Did you see the tweet Ant Middleton put out, Paul?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where Ant literally said, Tommy's a great guy, he's a great journalist, saluted him. We're talking an ex-Special Forces soldier that's done the business, proper. He's a proper bloke. He's been out there. He's fought in, I think, Afghanistan and Iraq. I think he fought in both areas. And he's a celebrity. He's a great public speaker, and he's standing for London Mayor. And he must have the blessing of Reform because he was on a platform with them last year, and he's standing as their candidate in the election in for London Mayor. Now that is such a significant thing. So maybe that's happening as well. Because I'll tell you what needs to happen, Paul, to make this work, right? People like me who've been very, and again, it's nothing against Nigel Farage on a personal level, who have been very cynical about the motivation and very cynical about the direction the party's going. I'm looking at this and I'm going, this is a sign of hope. But it really is up to Nigel now to put his big boy pants on and say, right, let's bring everyone together. Because I mean, look, I'm on the NEC UKIP. I don't speak for UKIP. I'm basically, but I would imagine if an offer was made to UKIP, to the SDP, to people in the Tory party, to Ben and Rupert, to Tommy, that Nigel could actually have this whole thing sewn up and in the bag, and it could be an unstoppable force. I mean, if we think Paul, we were working out. I was talking to Jeff Taylor the other day when we did the live stream, right? And we were working out, obviously, there's going to be a lot of duplication in our viewer figures, right? And in our subscribers, right? But that little group that met in that room, and all of our numbers have grown since then, right? And we've all got plans, and we're all going to get bigger. We're all going to get better. That little group in that room in London that met to formulate the pledge. It was only last July, wasn't it? July 2024.
Yeah.
We probably have a reach somewhere in the region of 10 million. Now there's going to be duplication of that. If there was no duplication, probably around 10 million when you think about Tommy and Maya and all the other people, Dave Atherton, Sargon. I mean, Katie Hopkins was, you think about all the people there. Jordan Peterson were more, but he's not obviously in the UK. But you think about when all those people are added up. So that's just with our little social media accounts, with us just doing it with little pieces of string and sticky tape tied together. This isn't a professional operation. And, and I think also, I'll be honest with you, Paul, I think Farage should engage with the pledge, because the pledge is The pledge is the
problem
ideology
is,
that's.
the problem is though, Richard, Willie, I mean, so do you think that Nigel will have been looking at what's going on in the background, and will he have in second thoughts? I guess that's the question. Is he got it in him? I'm not sure that he's got it in him to sit back and go, do you know what, I got this wrong. I'm not sure that he has personally. What do you think?
No, I don't think so either. I think he's just sitting there and he's watching what's happening. I don't think he ever saying anything. He just enjoying the show. That's what I feel like. I feel like he's the face, but he don't take any actions. That's just my opinion. That's what I think when I see him. I don't really think he's doing much. Farage is not doing anything at all. But yeah, so but and you can see, I think the worst thing is if he says he's going to be working for the people, which everybody's looking at right now, because we don't get anybody who is in favor of the people trying to help them. And then he sits out on big interviews and he call people like us far right just because we are patriots. I think that is not a good. That is not good as well, because we already got this problem with the lefties and the Labour government that we got right now. And for him to come in and thinking about us as far right, and then all of a sudden when he comes in, for us probably the similar rule will apply. So where do we go then? I am very critical of Nigel Farage. I to be honest, I don't really like the guy, but like I said, it's just my opinion. But I don't think he's going to do anything positive. Yeah, he might be a little bit better than Labour, but then people need to think when they're talking about things like banning the burqa, and then he doesn't want to say anything when they talk about illegal immigration, not even legal, just kicking out the illegal immigrant. Like I, as a legal immigrant, I say they should be deported. They shouldn't be in the first place. It is okay to have asylum seekers and illegal immigrant when the country was good. But when you have your own people suffering on the street, you got veterans, you got pensioners, you've got kids. They can't celebrate Christmas because their parents can't afford afford presents for them. So when you have kids, they can't go to their friends' birthday parties because they can't take gifts over, and they feel shy or they feel embarrassed to go there. So of course, there is a huge problem that we've got right now. So I think with everything that's going on, I don't think Nigel Farage would understand these small little things. And I say this because, like I said, when I used to work in the council, I have heard the councillors saying things like, if somebody did an overtime, because I used to be in the HR and the payroll. So when I used to do their hours, the people used to work, the cleaners and the other staff members that we had. So if they were to be short on 100 or 200 pounds, and I used to go back to them and I used to say to them, look, one of your people, one of the Swansea Council people have made a mistake. So that's why that person got paid less. And that person have called me now and said that £100, we dependent on them. And when I'm talking to the council, they're laughing at it. They're saying, oh, who cares about £100? I said, ask me. I literally care about a penny, because my direct debit, when they go out, I got nothing left. So for you to sit there with your 50, 60K salaries and laughing at the people who are earning 18K, like literally bare minimum, who got 2 kids, who are single mothers, single fathers, and for you to, rather than looking at the problem that I've just brought it to you, and you're laughing about it as if nothing. So, these people need to understand the pain. If they don't understand the pain they haven't been through, they're not going to be there for the people. And this is what I believe in. 100%.
Exactly. And this is what we were saying the other night, Richard, isn't it? We just want someone in charge that has some bloody empathy. Let me read one or two of these out. Philip Shepherd, thank you very much. Not been on here for a while. I was getting too upset about Tommy in prison, but good news, I think, today. Cheers, Philip. Yorkshire Tea. Love you guys. Thank you, Yorkshire Tea. Jason Nuneaton, total respect for Shoaib. Where's Danny? Well, Danny's off big time in it. I think he might be rebel streaming tonight.
Paul, he's training. He's training for the big fight. That's where Danny is. He's in the gym, mate.
He's out running, mate. Yeah,
he's on the bag. He's on the bag.
He better learn how to run. Simone, thank you, Simone. Love your tea, so and your story. Richard, the Imam, BBC and Sky now referring to Tommy as a political activist. Hurrah! Listen, things are changing. They have to change. And you know what? The guy that had it right today in that crowd was a gentleman of colour. I'm not sure what his background was, but he said to Tommy, the truth will always come to the truth is always the best way. I can't remember exactly what he said, but the truth will always come to the forefront. And he was absolutely right. Richard Diamond, again, after that helicopter episode, Cliff Richard decided it was best to slip into the shadows.
Brilliant.
Oh, dear.
like a ghost rider.
Yeah, one woman vigilante. Thank you. Hi, Paul. I must email you. It won't let me say what I need to say. Landlady in contempt of court, homeless, and yet more police torture over my sister and freedom of speech. MP council not acting yet. Please do email me. Thank you very much. Yes, I will do. Really appreciate that. Let's dive into the normal chat for a second. Shohab is a warrior. No retreat, no surrender. Keir Starmer is awful. I think you won't get many people disagreeing with that.
Yep.
Did you see that lot outside the court today? Beautiful sight. Do you know what, Richard? Today was the first time that I felt homesick watching that.
I know. I was the same. I was exactly the same. I couldn't get over. I mean,
homesick.
I was all those court appearances. Like, I would have been there. You know what I mean? But look, it is what it is. That's we're all where we are. But no, I mean, it was good. And listen, the way he spoke outside the court, man. Have you noticed something about him since he's come out of prison? He doesn't swear when he's making speeches.
He's not been swearing. Yeah.
And do you know something, Paul? I think he's a lot calmer, a lot more measured, and a lot more focused. I think there's a positive change. And listen, Tommy is like, he's almost like an athlete reaching his peak of fitness, his peak performance. Because I've watched Tommy since the EDL days. I was never involved in that, but I watched him because I was very impressed with the way he conducted himself and spoke on TV and all that sort of thing. Then I got to know him in 2017, and I've just seen him grow and grow and grow. And, I'm going to say this, right? I think, forget about Farage, forget about any of the political figures. I think Tommy Robinson is going to be the most influential political figure. Even though he's not a politician, he's going to be the most influential political figure in the next 20 years, over a 20-year period. He's still only he's 42, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more in the tank with Tommy, and so he needs good people around him. He needs to stay grounded, and I think there's going to be some really, really amazing stuff happens.
There's a couple of things there. Stephen Fredwell, Richard, give me a wave. Give him a wave, Richard.
Hi, Stephen.
There you go, Stephen. Check in the post, please, mate. It's £500 for Richard. Give him waves.
1,000 now. 1,000. 500 each, Paul.
Oh, that is a joke, by the way, everyone, because I know some people will take that seriously. Here's the thing, Richard.
Do you know what, Paul? Do you know what's going to happen, Paul? That little bit there is going to be clipped. And all the trolls, all the little keyboard warriors will be sitting there. We've got them now. We've got them. I want to give the opposite to a wave there, but I'm just going to love them. Just got to love everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what I do think. There's a couple of things here. One is good. One is rather worrying. I think his time is coming. And it's when it happens, it's going to happen quickly.
Yeah,
it's all of a sudden, it's going to be like, when you fill a bucket of water and it suddenly pours over and all the water pours out. It's going to be like that. It's going to happen quickly when it happens. But here's the danger. Something that he's always said and has repeated again recently is that he continues to fight for the truth. And he will not let go. And if they keep putting him away, all they're doing is highlighting his cause. The problem is, mate, those in charge, they can see this, they know this, and I think they'll make every effort they can to stop him. And that's really, really worrying. Well, because he is really genuinely exposing what the media and the authorities have been doing, not just to him, but to a lot of other people as well.
Paul, believe you me, there's so much. Look, even just on the films that we made, and I was talking about this earlier on. The reality is, we hardly scratched the surface. That the evidence, and it's all stashed away. It's all safe. It's not with Tommy. It's not with me. The evidence that we've got, would, if it blew the lid off this thing, the country would never be the same again. The evidence that we've got reference the grooming gangs, reference some of these NGOs, that are working for the government. It's all there. It's just having the resources to put it all in the public domain. So if they want to play that game, if the lefties and the establishment want to play that game, they'll not just be taking on Tommy, they'll be taking on hundreds of people because it can be disseminated everywhere. So there's a lot of stuff there that's sitting that I'd say probably half a dozen people know about, right? And you know, so it's up to them. If they want to play big boys rules, you know, that's completely up to them. You know.
Alan says the back of that dude's t-shirt is outstanding. Ask him to show us the back, please. Let's have a look, show him. What does it say?
Let me know if you can see it.
Celebrating white excellence. What does it say at the bottom? White lives matter.
Yeah, that's what it says. Yeah.
Shohab, I'm done with you. You're a white supremacist. I want nothing more to do with you. I'm done. I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
Vanessa
Can't take it anymore.
Vanessa says Tommy ain't taking no prisoners, that's for sure. I mean, look, I gotta tell you, right? I didn't expect to hear from him for a while. I thought he's going to come out of prison, he's going to get back with his family, he's going to take time to get his head together. Richard, I've got to tell you, mate, the messages that he sent me are just unbelievable. It's like 5:30 in the goddamn morning and he's sending me 5-minute long WhatsApp messages. He's in the car on the way to the gym telling me about his day, where he's going, what he's doing, what he's up to next. The guy, I mean, Duracells, he's like, don't even come into it. These are Duracells on super duper steroids. I tell you, the man is just remarkable.
You know those little, talking about Duracell, you know the little pink bunnies, right? Not those ones. The ones that you used to wind up with like clockwork. You used to get them in a stocking when you were a kid.
Yeah.
This is going totally in the wrong direction in it. But you know the ones I'm talking about. And you wind them up, and they basically just go off and they walk on their own. And they walk around a table, and then they fall off the table, and they pick themselves up, and they walk around the living room, right? Well, what's happened with him when he was locked up in solitary confinement? What the government didn't realise is what they were doing was they were just winding up the little pink bunny, and now the little pink bunny's come out of prison, and the coil has sprung, and they're not going to be able to stop him. Yeah. You know, listen, and the reality is, he said to me the other day, so Rich, you know, sometimes you have to take a couple of months off. And I was like thinking, well, you don't take a couple of months off, so I'm going to take a couple of months off either, you know. But it is, Paul, I said it the other day, it is like that scene from Godfather Part 3. You can never get out, you know.
Yeah.
They keep the movement, and there's so much to be done. And the passion of it just keeps dragging you back in. And that's what's, you know, I mean, I think it's absolutely superb the way he's come out, Paul. And, you know, I think he will probably take some time with his family now because he needs to do that. He really needs to do that. But incredible.
Yeah. John Windsor, Paul, did Maya Tuzi get his bag back that went missing outside? He did get it back, did he? He got it. Yeah,
he got it. And he made a joke as well. And he said, you never hide a brown man's bag because you never know what's in it. So I got it because I'm a Muslim and I know what happened when, you know, I don't want to say it, but you get it.
Christine Hyatt, all in the chat. Let's have a little look here. Hold on a second. Stephen, evening all. Kevin Ray, Tommy is not a racist. Oh my God, of course he's not. It's just bloody ridiculous. But that's, you know, this is what the media have been pushing for years, isn't it?
Yep.
You know, I went up to the mainstream media there. I was trying to go up to them and I was with my t-shirt on. And the moment they saw me, they started running away from me. And as they were running away, I was saying to them, oh, I'm an immigrant. Can I let you know about Tommy Robinson? They looked at me for a second and they seen the t-shirt. They're like, yeah, he's going to say something positive about Tommy. So we're not going to speak to him. They were like, yeah, no, we don't want to talk to you. And that's it. They left.
Well, that's because
you're a white supremacist show.
I mean, we're laughing, but on a more serious note, why would they do that? Why?
Because they don't want the truth to come out. They want people to think that Tommy Robinson is, you know, he's a racist.
Well, not only that, Shai, but I also believe that they want to keep us separate. They don't want us being together.
Of course they do. Of course.
Because
100%.
Us together, we are stronger together. I mean, everyone knows that, right? And as a united kingdom, as a united people, we are a problem.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think, you know what, I'm not going to lie, some of my family members now that where I live in Swansea, whenever I go out and about, and you will see some of the, well, I don't want to say them ethnic group, but when they see me and my family member says to me that, you know, these people from your own community are more scared of you than they're scared of the white people now. What have you done? And I'm like, I don't know why. They are actually a lot scared of me. When they see me around, they just want to call the police on me. They would rather see actual racist people out now. They won't mind, but the moment they see my face, they're like, yeah, you know what? Don't talk to him. Don't speak with him. He might tell us the truth. So we don't want to listen to that. So call the police on him, and that's it. That's how they get rid of me. That's all they've been doing.
Johnny Retro, Richard, what about Elon saying Trump was on the Epstein list? Well, this is big.
Yeah, I've just seen that. And again, my goodness, you know, all I can say is I hope he wasn't, because it would not be good for the. I mean, what would happen is, well, I mean, apparently Elon's put that out though, hasn't he?
Mate, I've seen a whiff of it, but it's such a big subject. I think we got to know a bit more about it before we.
Yeah, I think so.
The trouble is with stuff like that is the more people talk about it, the more it gets around, and we don't know, do we? We don't know. Malcolm Thorpe says we could keep it in the family, or I could train you. I tell you what, listen, don't talk to me about the training. I've got a new training partner, Cyril the Snail. Right, he's helping me out, and he beat me in a 5-minute run this afternoon. Danny's in big trouble, boys, I tell you. He don't know what's coming.
You're going to rock his world, Paul.
I'm going to rock his world, mate. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I mean, the first round is probably going to be like Hagler Hearns. That was, you know, the Hagler Hearns fight. I mean, that was one of the world's greatest first rounds. I think me and Danny probably put on a show. Something like that. I'm going to call out Jake Paul after I've finished with Danny.
Yeah, but he's a bit slow. He's a bit slow for you, Paul. You know, Paul's got very fast hands. That's the thing about it. You know, that's exactly.
I'll tell you what. All joking aside, I used to have a friend who was a very, very good professional boxer. Had many, many fights, didn't win many, but he was what you would call a real solid journeyman. And a good fighter, and had a chin of granite. And I remember him sitting at ringside or close to the ringside before a fight, having a fag behind the desk, you know, behind the chair, like going like that and having a drag on a fag. But I tell you what, no one ever stopped him.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Yeah, no one ever stopped.
Yeah, no, but that was the old. I remember when I did a really hard course in the Brecon Beacons when I was in my early 20s, and one of the instructors used to run right with weight on, with a rolled up fag hanging out the side of his gob. He's about 35-year-old, and he's running up mountains like that, puffing on a flipping cigarette. I'm like, man, that's one hard. You know, that's a different breed. You know what I mean?
Alan says we are the least racist nation on the planet. You know, I think. Right.
Can I just say that, because obviously I lived in Saudi Arabia, and you know I know a lot of family in Pakistan. I think Alan is absolutely right. They British white people. When I see, I think it's not racism. More of it for me. I just personally think there is no racism within them. If anything, it's just a little bit biased. That's all it is. You know, they like something, they don't like something. That is not racism. That's just preference.
Well, I'll tell you what, being out here in Benidorm at times, I often see groups of lads, you know, there's 10, 15, 20, maybe even more. And every group of lads that I see out here, there's always a mixture of races amongst the lads. There'll be some black lads, some Asian lads, whatever. And they're just mates. You know, it's not separated. It's not a group of black lads and a group of white lads. They're all mixed. They're all mixed in together. Yeah. But being out here in Spain, what I will say is it's really brought. I've never lived outside the UK ever in my life. This is the longest I've ever been outside the UK, and it's really hitting home to me, particularly the schooling and the schools and the way they treat their kids, the way that the kids have. The opportunities their kids are given, the play areas, the youth clubs, the youth facilities out here, There's football pitches everywhere. There are like youth centres, and all this has disappeared from the UK. I mean, I was brought up. I spent my teenage years hanging around the youth centre, and I learned a lot there. Some things were good, some things weren't so good. But I mean, we don't have these in the UK anymore. I believe our youngsters, they've been dumped. They've been left behind. Nobody cares about them anymore.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think the more worrying thing is the indoctrination in schools. I mean, the truth of the matter is the stuff kids have been taught, taught to be ashamed of British history and British culture, and then that feeds. And actually, I'll say there's probably more racism coming from non-white people than there is from white people. There's probably more racism against white people in certain communities than there is coming the other way around. Because I honestly, no, I was just saying, when you talk about that racism against the white people, you're absolutely right, because I can tell you from my own perspective, the people that I know born and raised in the UK, their parents were born here, and even their grandparents, they came here, and then the parents were born, and the kids that I know personally was born here. When I speak to them, they don't have even a single white friend, and they live in the UK, right? Yep.
And I grew up in Saudi Arabia, and believe it or not, I've got more European, Canadian, American, and even British friends, because a lot of them, as I was growing up, my father used to work with these German people, and they were our engineers. And now that I've become of an age, and they have grown up, I don't look at them as my dad's business partner. Yes, my father looks at them as business partners, but I look at them as my uncles. So if I call them now in Germany, I won't call them, oh, Mr. This. I'll call them, hey, uncle, how are you? And this is the thing that I've seen growing up in Saudi Arabia. When I came to the UK, I thought, surely if you live in a white country, when you're mixed with so many different nationalities and cultures and races, race, in general, white, black, or brown, you would have friends. But what I've seen within the Pakistani culture, they got nothing. And if anything, I have been to their houses. The moment I've stepped into the house, what I am seeing there, I feel like I've stepped into a mini Pakistan. So I used to have these conversations with these family members. They are in the UK. And I used to say to them, look, you guys have come to the UK. Well, not come to the UK. You were born in the UK. Your grandparents come to the UK. Even your parents were born in the UK. So for me to see this, that you have opened up a mini Pakistan, and what you have done, it is not the white people's fault now. What they have done, they have created this boundary within their house where they're like, we don't want no white culture. We don't want no British culture. We don't want nothing to do with the UK, but we want to live in the UK. But what we're going to do, we are going to make ourselves a mini Pakistan. So it's not the white people's fault. When you are coming to this country and you want a mini Pakistan. So I said to them, if you don't like it, and if you want a mini Pakistan, might as well go to Pakistan and enjoy life there. Who's stopping you? But unfortunately, these are the people, when you talk about the racism, this is it. This is the racism coming from the ethnic minorities.
How do we change that? How do we change that?
Well, let me just come in on that, because if we look at Anna Sanwar, right, the Scottish Labour leader, right, who was attacking Farage, I honestly thought, because Dan Wootton showed it a couple of times on his channel, and I thought it was AI generated, right? Anna Sanwar repeated word for word that vile racist speech that Humza Yousaf made, where he was saying, all High Court judges wait, all heads of companies wait, all police officers wait, just pure, absolute anti-white racism from both of those men. Both, Humza Yousaf was leader of the SNP. Anis Sanwar is leader of the Scottish Labour Party. His father was the first Scottish MP, and they are absolutely, completely sold on promoting Pakistani values. I'm not talking about as in Pakistani cultural values, Pakistani national values. In other words, promoting Pakistan in the United Kingdom. And these men have been leaders of the two biggest parties in Scotland, which is, as far as I know, 98% white. So it is absolutely ridiculous. And I genuinely don't give a toss what colour you are. Do you know what I care about? I care about whether you love the United Kingdom, like you've always said, Paul, is what's inside your heart, red, white and blue. That's what I care about. I don't care if you're brown, orange, yellow, purple, whatever. As long as you love this country and you want to make this country work. And this is what we've got to do. And I think, I'll be honest with you, and Nick Tenconi makes me laugh, because Nick Tenconi says, he talks about the communists. He says you're not just going to deport people in the country, from minorities that hate the country. He's going to deport the communists as well. So he wants to get the lefties out. He says, if anybody hates the country, you're going, and of course he's saying that tongue in cheek, but it's a very valid point. And the point is this, that the only way that we're going to make this country work, and this is the point I'm going to get to, which answers your question, Paul, right? The only way we're going to make this country work is by making people proud of the country, proud of our history, proud of our culture, proud of our faith, which is
proud of each other. Proud of each other as well.
Well, the thing is, I can't be proud of someone that wants to be a jihadi, or I can't be proud of someone in Antifa, or I can't be proud of someone that's in the IRA and wanted to blow the absolute you-know-what out of our towns and cities. So I'm not going to be proud of those people, but proud of our military, of, get back trusting our police, trusting our judiciary, trusting the establishment. But what's happened is these scumbags that have taken it over, the Starmers, and what's this guy, Richard Herman or whatever they call him, the Attorney General, and the Hate Not Hope activists, and all these people in the civil service who are signed up to the woke agenda, all the people in business who've got signed up to this garbage,
who are mostly white.
Well, this is the whole point. You see, the biggest hatred in this country is not interracial hatred. There will be some of that, but that's not the biggest hatred. The biggest hatred is between the limp. I'm going to call them the limp-wristed elites. You know yourself, Paul. We were talking about Starmer hitting the punch bag. That man's never had a fight in his life, right? He's never had a tear up with anybody, right? I'm not that I'm saying that's a great thing one way or the other, but if you've lived a bit, you've had a few scrapes, you've had to, do whatever you've had to do, right? These people in these positions of power, that we in the military used to say they had a pirate's dream, a sunken chest. You know what I mean? They've got these little squashed in chests. They're hunched over. They're the most pathetic, nerdy people that used to get slapped about in school, and now they're running the country. And to be honest with you, they hate the working class. They hate the white working class. They're all white. They're all university educated, and they see us as the scum of the earth. And we're the ones that built this country. We're the ones that fought for this country. We're the ones that would have died and still would die for this country. And they're the problem. So the problem is not the different ethnicities in the country. The problem is the elites that have corrupted it. So, and this is where it comes back to the beginning of the conversation, Paul. The reform issue is such a massive issue because unless reform is the sort of party that can do what Trump's trying to do, get into government and literally fire, prosecute, push them out of their positions, the civil servants, the quangos, repeal all the bad laws, get rid of all the wokeness. Literally, you've got a piece of paper there in your hand, Paul. Rip those pieces of paper up. Rip that legal system up that's been put together over the past 20, 30, it's actually 30 years. It started with John Major. All of that's got to go. The establishment has to be completely dug out and good people need to be put back in. And that takes a lot more than just Nigel winning an election. That's why if Nigel wins an election, even if he gets a big majority, if he doesn't have the right team around him, if he's just grabbing people from the left and from all over the place and not vetting them properly, he's going to end up having exactly the same people in the same positions. So what we need is, the party's called reform. What we need is root and branch reform, where everything is literally ripped up and then put back together again. And I know,
Let me just read a couple of these out, mate. Thank you, Jay Marvel. Thank you. I was amazed that Tommy finally got a decent judge. Let's hope it's the same in July. Richard the Imam, thank you again. Shaib has such courage and inspiration to all. And I would like to take this opportunity to say that during the last few weeks, when I've had one or two ups and downs and a couple of wobbles and a bit of a bad time, this gentleman on the screen now stuck by me and regularly contacted me to make sure that I was all right. And I thank him most sincerely for that publicly. He is indeed a true gentleman and one of our own. Shoaib, thank you so much for your support.
Oh, you're welcome, Paul.
It will never be forgotten.
No, I know. Thank you.
Yeah, he did the same with me as well, Paul. He did exactly the same with me. When my mum passed away, and I've been through the worst 6 months of my life without a shadow of a doubt. And Shoaib was there you know, I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you, all the time. And, so, I think you're the same as me, Paul. I don't forget things like that. Right. So,
No.
and I mean, Paul, you've been the same. You've been very supportive of me as well, Paul. So it's like, and I know it's a bit of a mutual appreciation society, but it's true, and Danny as well, so there's been a lot of, and Tommy. I mean, when Tommy came out, when Tommy came out, the messages he sent me, and that's how you see the truth. That's how you see it's how you see the leadership qualities in him, Paul. Because you don't have to do that. Because look, he knows I'll work for him anyway. Like, he knows me. He knows I'll do stuff for him because I've got such a high esteem for the man. But he didn't have to come out and send me messages saying, I know what's happened. It's disgusting. I've got your back, and that means a lot. It means a massive amount.
And like I say, you guys have been very supportive to me as well. So thank you so much for that, both of you.
I mean, we did because we helped you out with the legal stuff. Yeah. I mean, that was down to our other friend. Not name. Well, in fact, I'll name him Ian. Ian was basically the man behind all that. So, another. Do you know what? When this is happening, the cream rises to the top, right? And that's what I've seen. My circle of trust has gone down to a very, very small circle now, right? But I've got some very good people in it now, and it took a long, it takes a long time to realize who the people are that's got your back and who the people are that don't have your back. And that's what I'm going to say on that.
That's for sure. Richard Diamant again. The MSM narrative has changed today. Both Sky and BBC referred to Tommy as a political activist. I send appreciation to them. We need them on side. Richard, look, I agree, but I don't think we'll ever get the BBC and Sky News on side. But we'll see about that. Jackie,
I think the thing is, Paul, with that, I mean, with the mainstream media, it's not. I'm not on about destroying everything. I want to see these organisations genuinely reformed and doing what they're meant to do. I mean, if you look at Sky TV on Australia, Sky TV on Australia is brilliant. It's a right wing. It's like Fox or GB News, and then the BBC. If the BBC stuck to its charter, it would be a very, very good organisation, but it doesn't.
I want the BBC back when I was a kid.
Exactly.
To be able to trust the BBC. Jackie Lee, thank you, Jackie. You see the bouncing Tommy step. Now he's got support from the good common sense people. Nothing will stop him. Oi, Paul. Danny's doing the live now. I tell you what. Listen, when we draw this to an end, right? Let's have a little joke with Danny, right? When I draw this to an end, let's all go over to Danny's stream and say, Danny, we've been over at Paul's and he does a much better job than you, Danny. Let's really and let's get over there and tell him that you guys think I'm going to give him a good hiding in the boxing match because that will really wind him up.
Let's do it.
So
everybody in the chat. Everybody in the chat, jump onto Danny in Spain after this, and we'll give him what for.
We'll give him what for. Richard Diamant again. Richard, thank you so much. You haven't got to do that, mate. Thank you. If establishment are working collaboratively to condemn Tommy, they are making a pig's ear of it, given that Elon Musk gave him a free advert and 100 million views. Jason, cheers, Jason. Shoaib, what's your YouTube channel? Give that a shout out, mate.
Oh, I'll put it in the link because it's
put it up on Put it up in the link, mate. Tony, just for some pointers, Paul, watch Laurel and Hardy boxing match. Danny won't know what's happening. Thank you very much. Let's pop back into the normal chat. A quick word on the supers, by the way. I never, ever ask for supers. I don't expect them. You haven't got to send them. The reason that I read them out is because people have very kindly paid for the privilege of making sure that I read their message out. It's as simple as that. That's all there is to it. Jack says, free Lucy Connolly. Absolutely. I will not. Every day I think about Lucy. And her story is just unbelievable. A bereaved mother in jail for being upset about seeing other mothers being bereaved. It's just insanity. Absolute insanity. Jack, Tommy Robinson is a good man fighting for a better future for people. Absolutely. The moderator, good evening, mate. I know exactly who that is, one of my very dear friends. Right, guys, listen, we've been going for over an hour. If you haven't already done so, please drop me a thumbs up. That would really be helpful. But more importantly, let's all get over to Danny in Spain onto his live stream and tell him, I'm going to stay quiet. I'm just going to sit back and watch. But get over there now and tell him that Paul is going to give him a good hiding when we get in the boxing ring together. Let's see what his reaction is. Let's see if we can wind him up. Right, guys, thank you so much, Shahid, for joining us tonight. I've thoroughly enjoyed having you on. Richard, always lovely to see you, brother. Have a lovely rest of the week and a good weekend. We will be back soon. For now, take care, and we'll see you all soon. Good night, everyone.
Adios.
Good night.
See you over at Danny's.
See